Blog Talk Radio.
Please take all the necessary precautions to protect your Constitution while listening to this broadcast.
3, 2, 1. Coming to you live via the internet. It's time for Rage Against the Regime.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Finally, a show for patriots, defending the Constitution and uncovering the truth at every turn, bringing you exclusive interviews and covering the topics the mainstream media doesn't dare to touch. Call in and join the discussion at 929-477-3565. That's 929-477-3565. And now, here are your hosts, Bobby Who's the Man and Becky Williams. Rage Against the Regime.
I'm the man, I'm the man. More man. My boy. Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
Bobby, how are you doing today? That was Ozzy Osbourne, War Pigs. Explains everything that's going on today in this country for sure. You with us, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm here. I'll be back to you in a second. I'm in the building.
Ah, fantastic. Well, welcome to Rage Against the Regime Saturday Open Mic. This is your host, Becky Williams, and the other host is Bobby Ritter. He is currently still working hard at his job today. He's doing a little bit of overtime, so he'll pop in and out. I want to invite the callers to dial in at 929-477-3565 and engage me in some conversation.
And the host will be notified.
I see that we have Jim on the line. Hey,
Otherwise,
Jim, how are
keep
you
holding,
doing, brother?
you'll be able to listen to the show.
73565 and engage me in some conversation. 813 area code. Who have I got?
Doing good, Becky. How are you?
Hey, brother, you bridging me in? This is Jim, right?
You're bridged. Yes, this is Jim.
Oh,
you're bridged, and I'm going to mess with the banner, so I'm here on mute.
All right, brother. I didn't get an opportunity to post my show up, so I'm not blowing up with callers yet. Bobby had a problem posting today on Facebook, so I'm just going to send out some tweets and twits and see if we can't get people calling in.
Well, it seems that, Becky, what's happened in the last week has...
What, brother?
It's even on Bank versus You on Facebook. It's, all the momentum there. That was a place to hear things. I shut that page down. I won't go into why, but I think this is a lesson that we need a place that's managed by one of us to coagulate, and then once we get it posted from you or Bobby or me, then we go out and we do what we can to put it on social media. But at the end of the day, we bring people to our site, and it doesn't, whatever name or whatever, like Bill said, we're past that. But a place for people to go say, hey, if Bank versus You at Facebook's gone, let me go over here to the group and see if there's any news on that. Same with you, Becky. I got kicked off LinkedIn, both professionally and the Bank versus You, because of course I just said the truth. But if we rely upon Facebook, is my point, and I know I'm preaching to the choir. But we have to have a place, a site or an email or something for people to be able to go, hey, we can't find Becky. You see what I mean? Or Bobby, or you see what I mean? And I think that's the lesson that we've learned this week, and it's an inconvenience, but I am working on that. And what that yields, so, some of these negatives can be, it's like, okay, we got to get that done before they totally take it down. And I just got my shipment of Bofang hams in yesterday, the first run. So they're in battery conditioning and programming, and we'll get to that later. Anyway, thank you for having me as a sub listener here, and I'm going to mute, and you are rebroadcasting, of course.
I'm actually happy to have you on. Bobby's busy right now, and you and I can sit and chat for a little while if you have a few until we get some callers in. I've just started texting people and getting it out on Twitter as well that way. This is a huge awakening and a huge red flag. At the end of the day, they're starting to shut us down, and all across the board, like you said, we're not the only ones having issues getting our business posted. And I find it hard to believe that I've got a troll that as much as I post on a daily basis can go back 4 or 5 months in a matter of just an hour to an hour and a half, pardon me, and pull a post from 4 or 5 months ago for me to catch another 30-day ban. I believe that they have a team in place that's doing that. And I believe that team is within the administration buildings of the Facebook headquarters, in my opinion. I think that's what they're up to. And everything I got banned for had to do with Islam. Everything.
Well, Becky, that's exactly why I was ultimately, told on LinkedIn. Because I attack Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, it's funny, they would post job listings and their little cutesy little, come work for blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well, on my resume, should I include the ability to forge documents, and illegally kick homeowners out of their house. And I formed this little bullet point thing and posted it. And of course, one of their people, Freddie, don't pay attention to this Jim troll. Freddie Mac is a very friendly and great place to work. Well, sure, they're paying you to be stupid. Okay? And anyway, I won't belabor any of that, but I don't care. And some of my professional folks said, Jim, why are you being such an asshole on LinkedIn? Well, I know I'm not being an asshole on LinkedIn. I'm speaking the truth. But to your end, Becky, to your point, same thing. A bunch of us. Sean in Chicago's disappeared. I need to find out what happened to him. But we would sit out there as a group of people across the country on LinkedIn, and not only speak the truth about what the hell is going on with these Muslim scumbags, but then we would have some fun, begging strips, bacon. And my famous thing, I'm going to surround myself with Hooter girls and a pork tenderloin on the grill and wrap myself in bacon. And maybe the way to do this is just to drop bacon all over, the places we know these people are. And half of it's fun, but that should show any scumbag, FBI, CIA that thinks I'm a terrorist, the fact that, we're American. I'm going to wrap up with this, too, and yield back. I spoke with a very trusted individual in great length today, and, I said, well, hey, I said, we're going kind of out there on the limb, and I have no fear, and I'm not going to crawl back into the sturdy part. But I said, what leads any of us in my groups to believe that we're not going to get a knock on the door at 2:30 in the morning? And their comeback was nothing. And they're like, Jim, you do know that everything that you're doing is being recorded. And I said, yeah, bring it. Why is our own country making the citizen out to be the terrorist while they're aiding and abetting and false flagging the shit out of us, Becky?
Well, I tell you what, brother, it's very disheartening. We've got a situation here where France, is having some true issues. Can you hold one moment? Hang on.
Here, I'll talk with her.
Y'all hold on
for one moment. I'm back now. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, we've got issues with what happened in France. In less than 29 hours, terrorist Muslim cockroaches had killed 12 in the first killing. Then they shot a cop. The guy that shot her from inside the car at the traffic stop was directly linked to the two murderers that went in and killed the newspaper people, the cartoonist. And then they took over a Jewish deli, and they killed 4 more people, and then wanted to die as martyrs. And so it happens that they actually did. Between the killings the first day and the following day, they had picked up 2 more terrorists to go help them wreak havoc on society and murder people. One of them, by the way, the female, is still at large. And I heard our Department of Homeland Security, our former Department of Homeland Security director, sit and defend Islam and say this is not indicative of Islam. It's a peaceful religion. These are just radical Muslims. Bullshit. Centuries are proven that that's just a blatant and open lie. Then you hear our politicians saying it. You hear Obama saying it. I heard the military say it, a general say it. Listen, what the hell is wrong with these idiots? Listen, you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And they are giving a false sense of security and an open door of acceptance and when I say ignorant, please don't misunderstand me, people. Ignorance is just lack of knowledge. It doesn't mean that you're challenged mentally. It just means that you either haven't taken the time, had the interest sparked in order to do the research, whatever, for whatever reason. But it leaves society to truly, who hang on every thread that is broadcast on the media, to truly believe that that is in fact. Listen, folks, do yourself a favor. Get a Quran and read it. Get a Hadith and read it. And pay attention to who are always killing people, blowing themselves up, and trying to, follow a strict agenda of fatwa or jihad. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Right, exactly. Hey, I just sent you a little video clip of the studio. I got your banner up, and not that we are NBC, but we have a nice couple sets going. Anyway, but I hear you, Becky, and it's what's that?
Go ahead. I said that was nice, brother. I appreciate that.
Well, but and again, to get the knock at the door, and I mean, I don't want to harm anybody. And I'll talk to you. Hell, you want to come? Hell, I'll make them a cup of coffee, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts around the corner. I'll go sit and chat with you. But why are we attacking ourselves? Why is the very agencies that we have employed through our representatives and pay dearly, it seems like even the IRS, they lean on us more than we lean on the others. And I'm going to wrap it up, Becky, and I had this chat with Attorney Tom this morning. Obama gets on live on the stump yesterday, and when the cameras came on him, you would have thought that you were listening to Jay Leno. He's up there making jokes, cracking jokes, this, that, and the other, and then he kind of gets serious a little bit, but can you picture even Reagan? And I'm not condoning everything Reagan stood for or did or what we don't know, but can you picture Reagan getting up there and cracking jokes like Jay Leno when we're literally under attack? And a follow-up question, if I may, is what the fuck is Eric Holder doing flying to Paris? I mean, I'm going to yield because the list goes on, but what do you think, Beth?
Well,
my fellow Americans.
Go ahead. Hey, Bobby. Welcome back, brother.
Oh, hey, Bobby. I'm going to yield, brother. I was just kind of helping keep the tent up, but how you doing, brother?
Job. Believe me, you're helping out because, believe me, I'm still kind of stuck at work here for probably another, I don't even know how much longer. It's going to be for a little while, though. But, I was just going to do my Ronald Reagan impression, followed up with my Nixon impression, followed up with my George Bush impression, and then, no. No, you know what? I want to tell you something. This morning, I saw one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life. And it really wasn't as funny as I'm making it out to be, but it was funny. Okay, that's an oxymoron, I know. I think it was Thomas Lacovera Cooper made a video, and it's for a condom commercial, and it's called Muhammad's Condom Commercial. And it's like, you have to watch it. It's on the Rage Against the Regime podcast page. I posted it there. And it's, it's like, have you been out trying to go to your cave all day and, whatever, trying to do terrorist things and this and that, wondering what your sheep or your lamb or your goat or whatever the hell it says has been up to? Well, worry no more, because when you come home, you can, whatever. It's just a condom commercial. Talking about
I'm rolling on the floor, brother.
These Muslims screwing these goats. And my God, is it funny. Whoever put the video together, bravo, great job. I completely give you a standing ovation. It's just a great job. Another one that I saw this morning. Now, I'm going to ask you a question on this, Becky, because we have talked about this before, okay? These idiots think that they're trying to fool somebody. They're not fooling anybody. Okay, and I'm going to try to remember the word. You're going to know it as soon as I try to say it because I don't know how to say it very well. I think it's called takia.
Oh,
I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah, you mean the art of deception that they practice on a regular basis?
Yes. Well, wait. There's a Muslim man. I'll drop it in a second. I'll just tell you about the video, and then you can talk about the word. There's a Muslim man standing on video, and he's berating ISIS, calling them every F word and blah, blah, blah in the book, telling them, don't come to America, don't come to Europe, you pieces of crap, and going on and on, and all that crap. And he spoke pretty good English, and he did a pretty good job of it. But I think that's exactly what he was doing because, you know what, he looks like he's got that look, that Muslim look with the beard and, even though the beard's cleaned up on him, he looks very clean cut with a, real nice haircut and all that, but that doesn't mean a damn thing. I highly recommend you people to go out, look at this video. It can all be found on Rage Against the Regime podcast page, but both of the videos that I was just talking about can be found there. I actually think that Paris is in for a rude awakening. And what I mean by that is I think that they are flooded, okay? Overwhelmingly flooded with Muslim extremists, okay, and Islamists, and I think that they are going to take over that certain part of that country. And I don't mean take over like we completely took it over. I think they're going to take it over where they're going to keep like putting people in the streets. And, they're just going to keep imposing their will on the people. And I think that it's going to turn out to be a big headache there. But I think that they're in for a very, very rude awakening there. And, I have no idea what they're going to do over there. How can you try to go up to somebody and try to arrest some goof that, is an idiot or whatever with no gun in your hand? Okay? These guys are walking around shooting people and killing people and everything, and you're going to go try to arrest them with no gun in your hand? You have to be some type of idiot. Okay? And I'll be back in a second.
I'll tell you what, ISIS today hacked websites all across Paris today. Did you see that, Jim? Did you see that article?
I did, and I'm looking into the IP backside of that for a friend. But yes. Again,
so
and don't get me going because I'll go off on techie. But yes, ma'am, I did.
Yeah, and here's the deal. Some of the brightest minds in technology work for the government and corporations. And these guys seem to have not only these primitive, barbaric, cockroach, goat-humping ticks on society's ass in the middle of a freaking desert, seem to have the capability, the equipment, the technology to amass weapons and technical equipment to complete their agenda of jihad, caliphate, fatwa, whatever the hell they want to do. It's all about terror. In the Quran, in the book of Quran, in chapter 8 and verse 12, it says that their mission clearly, and it states this, the listeners can go look this up, is to instill fear and terror into the heart of the non-believers. And everything they do is done in such a horrific manner for that purpose, to instill fear to complete their takeover, to complete a caliphate. I thought there were 40 to 50. That was the initial reporting of the no-go zones in Paris. Okay. We're not even talking in France. We're talking in the city of Paris. There are actually 171 no-go zones where Sharia law is in place and the government actually provides a map to the public to yield to the 171 no-go zones, and the Muslims are there, and no one else can go in unless you're a Muslim, but they still have access themselves to every freedom to move about as they will in any area of the city. They lay down and stop commerce in the middle of the streets by the thousands for prayer. Do either one of y'all know how long or how many times a day they pray and for how long that prayer takes place?
5 times.
Oh, well,
yes,
and
sir.
also that's a big thing here, Becky, in the public school systems, and I won't go off on that rabbit hole, but maybe we can in another episode. But, and see, I see both sides of the fence, but I think a lot of it is just a demand to instill control via their religious beliefs, and I yield.
No, you're absolutely correct. It is not a religion. It is a political and a militant ideology and an economic ideology that is hidden by and under the guises of religion, because they get their status as a nonprofit. Any organization, you can look this up, folks, any organization in America that is a Muslim organization had no problem getting their 501c3 status.
501c3, correct.
Which is a tax-free status. Meanwhile, we know what happened with the IRS targeting the conservative folks who needed that status.
Lois Lerner's little brother Scanner just went on overload, and she has no clue. Not to make fun, Becky, but yeah, that 501c3 status, Lerner full well knows that directives were handed down to the worker bees to mess with the people like us that that see a problem. And
under Sharia law, brother, the Muslims will not stand to be taxed. In other words, they do, and it states it in the Quran. Their position is this: the infidels deserve to own nothing. Everything that they own is to be taken and belongs to Islam. And I'm talking from commerce to your very life, folks. You convert or die. You adhere to their laws or you die. You adhere to everything that they want, they whimper for, and they use religion as that foothold, legal foothold, because most nations have the freedom of religion. And religion is given certain preferences, like a tax-free status, to operate as a not-for-profit organization, which I really don't understand at all. I don't understand the economics of that, because all of these not-for-profit organizations make billions. I do know that the law says that 1 nickel of every dollar is to go to the organization that is being funded as, for charity. And outside of that, the rest can be pocketed. Now, we know that they're funding terrorism. Right here in Garland, Texas, there will be, and any Texans that are listening to me, I want you to put this out like a wildfire. I want you to understand that Garland will be under siege on January the 17th. They're taking the city, and they're allowing an Islamic convention that is sponsored by a company called Sound Vision, which is an Islamic company. The imam that will be speaking at that event was a non-jailed conspirator in the 1993 bombings in New York. How is this bastard, who, by the way, he wrote a book. He was given an academic American Book Award for it, and it's in our colleges. It's a strategy, how to counter protests in India. And it's all about the logistics and strategies of conquering via protest. So they take our laws, they take our constitutions, they take every right that we have, which they really have no right to. Our government has handed it over to them, if you could call it a government, and they use it against us because they go under the guises of a religion. That's what people think Islam is, and they've done it for centuries. Wilbur, is that you on 937? Who have I got at 937 area code?
This is Fletcher.
Hey, Fletcher. Hey, Terry. What say you, brother, man? You got something to share with us on this?
Well, I've been busy all day. I haven't done much research on a lot, but I came in earlier, just prior to about 20 after, and there was somebody posted about the Paris attacks were absolute 100% false. It's another false flag. I don't know.
I saw that video.
I didn't even look at it. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, did you see where the police chief, head guy under that, killed himself less than 48 hours ago? So I just want to interject that, and I yield.
Yeah, I saw that, but I didn't get into it. So it was suicide, supposedly? Right?
Well, yes, suicide. Sir. The story goes that he was depressed and burned out, so he chose to kill himself. And as I spoke with a very trusted colleague for about 2 hours on this topic today, coincidence, number one, it doesn't float with me, although I'm sure it does happen. But, and it ties into the recent hedge fund gentleman that was killed by his son and the recent bankers. And with that, I yield. I just wanted to throw that tidbit on the table for this discussion because we do need to understand, in my opinion, in this lab, once again, we have a false flag event in Paris. And I yield.
Wow.
Go ahead.
No, I'm wow.
Yeah.
Ahead,
well,
brother.
Becky, I posted that, and I'll post it to you again in the Bank versus You chat room here. But I posted that, and actually, I was not the one that found that. My crack night crew here at the station, Free and KT, and others, Faith and Shy Girl, especially KT and Free, though. I mean, these girls at night are coming up with this stuff, and it's credible. And again, I yield.
Go ahead, Terry.
Bottom line is, you got all these false flags, and how long have we been going them now? Everybody's getting complacent. Oh, there's another terrorist attack over there in Paris. Oh, there's one in Africa, England, the UK, Scotland, Canada. They're all over, and people are starting to become accustomed to it. I think this is a fear that people are becoming accustomed to it. The New World Order is using the Muslim and the terrorist tactics, all that, to bring about what they want. The militarization of your police force. Look at Ferguson. If that wasn't militarized police, I don't know what was and what is. And they keep shipping military equipment to people through departments throughout the country, small and large. I look at that two different ways. They either the police are going to stand with the New World Order or they're not, and that's all that equipment for the police that will stand for the Constitution. And that's the two ways I look at it. But they intend to bring this country to a third world nation status. And we're rapidly approaching status. We are a great nation. We're a great nation, but we are being sucked dry at every level. Our finances, individually, us, we're getting to where we can't do things like we used to. I can't go to Washington. I can't go to Nevada. I don't have the frickin' money. I can't get across town half the time. Now I don't even own a vehicle. I'm striving to get another vehicle. Now I sold my other one to make a move to the south, and that helped me get down there. But now I'm gonna have to re-scratch and get a vehicle. What I'm saying is, we're going broke as a nation. We are broke as a nation. That third world status. and they're using Islam for their agenda of the New World Order. They don't care, and they'll kill anybody that gets in their way heavy enough. Bill Clinton.
Well, the real statistics of the unemployed in this country is almost 1/3 of the reported census population. Now, being that we know 70 to 75%, it's probably more by now, of the small to medium businesses, from doctors' offices to convenience stores, are owned by immigrants that prosperity has been handed over to, which was rightfully ours. Not theirs, ours. And we've been denied that ability to prosper by our own government agencies. Now, with that said, imagine this. Almost 100 million people are unemployed. That's the true number. Yeah. Now, couple that with the over 30 million homeless that we have, and the largest percentage of the homeless, by the way, most of those are Americans. 1 in 30 are children. The largest percentage is veterans. Now, you factor that in, they say we have 28 million people, which is probably a lie. How many Muslims do you think are employed? The largest, or immigrants. The largest percentage of the employed population in this country now, if you did the statistical breakdown, is foreign invaders, people that our government brought in as asylum, giving them asylum, okay, as refugees, which is nothing more than bullshit. You're looking at some serious problems here, brother. And then the rest of the group, and remember, the Muslims don't pay any taxes. The immigrants aren't paying any taxes, okay, because those immigrants are actually foreign invaders for the most part, and they've been coming through those borders for years. Now, if you look at those statistics, and if people really understood and realized that, you should be one pissed off son of a bitch at how they're choking us down. They're charging us $6 to $8 a gallon for milk in some counties, states, and they're charging us almost $3 for a dozen eggs and $3 for a friggin' loaf of bread. Meanwhile, hours are being cut, so people are having to scramble to try to find a second job to make ends meet because of the not-so-affordable extortion tax called Obamacare. It is a mess. This is a friggin' mess. And Americans still will not gather even in their own cities at the council doors and in front of their friggin' capitals in their state. We don't have to travel all to Washington, although we should have had at least 2 million people already kick the friggin' doors in at the mall and drag them out by the hair of their head and slap their ass in cuffs and hold a common law court and hang those bastards for the treason. And that's my opinion. Even General Boynton, I watched his news report about he was on the news, and there was a video clip, and if I knew how to do a soundbite, I would do it, but I don't know how to do that to plug it into the show. But in the last 3 minutes
Hey,
of that
Becky,
30
I
minutes,
sent you an email that I would take care of that for you, so we'll get to that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and Jim's going to do this for us. In the last 3 minutes, Boynton said exactly what I've been saying all along, is our government is destroying us on purpose.
Yes.
He didn't say those words specifically, but he said it, okay? In his conversation, that's what he was saying. And that it will take our own, the patriots, the citizens, it will take our organizing of our own military and army to do what needs to be done to remove the Muslims from our country and the danger from our government. We're going to have to do it. And we're talking about a retired brass officer who I have the utmost respect for, and he's got credentials a mile long, and he's out of Fort Worth, and I've tried repeatedly to get a hold of him. When I was running for governor, I wanted to talk to him about being a part of my council as far as military goes. because seceding the state of Texas would have included us becoming a new country, obviously. At the end of the day, we would have needed to build a strong military. And so I had a military council for that. But understand this, when you have a retired brass officer who is telling us we should have guerrilla teams already put together and ready to activate because of what's going on in America. See, what's going on in France is already going on here. We saw the shootings at Fort Hood. We've seen and reported the evidence of Muslims decapitating people in this country. And the lady in Oklahoma wasn't the first, and she will not be the last. Running through, butchering cops, screaming Allah Akbar with an axe in New York, in Canada. I mean, listen, people, Islam is not a peaceful religion. They are some sick, demonic, possessed minions. And since the beginning, they came out of Persia, since the beginning of Muhammad's sick shit in his Quran, the great prophet, he was nothing more than a satanic bastard, probably eaten up with syphilis in his brain from screwing goats, you know, or mules or anything else he could get his hands on.
Becky, he was just helping that goat over the fence. Now, come on. Come on, goat. Come on, goat. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, jump. Go ahead, honey.
One stroke. Two strokes. 3 strokes.
Right. Yeah. I can't seem to get the goat in there. I've been trying for 45 minutes. But, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, these people are sick. There is no moderate Muslim. Read the Quran. Read the Hadith. Pay attention to what's happened in history. Hell, if you don't want to believe me and you're too lazy to do what I'm telling you to do so that you know what I'm saying is not, and please don't send any emails. Please do not send me a hate email or Bobby a hate email calling me a freaking prejudiced bitch. Because, first of all...
Oh, it's going to come anyway. I get them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to go ahead and tell the ignorant bastards that do that are out there, Islam is not an ethnic group, okay? It is a cult, and it comes in every color, okay? So don't tell me I'm prejudiced, because it's the wrong terminology, and you're a fucking idiot, pardon my language, if that's what you're going to do. At the end of the day... educate yourself. Now, if you want to hold a debate with me on that, I'll be more than happy to. I won't cuss you. I'll agree to disagree with you, but I will make you look extremely ignorant because I will take out proof and I will review your ignorance with proof. I will prove you an idiot. Is basically what I'm going to do. Now, if you want to come on and have a debate and tell me how you think Muhammad is your friend because you've been doing business funding terrorism by buying goods and services from Muhammad for 5 years at the local convenience store and tell me how nice he is to you and he smiles at you and blah, 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 blah. After I get this puking in my mouth, I will explain to you what tequila is and why Muhammad's smiling at you because you're a dumbass. He's smiling not because he likes you. He's smiling because you're an idiot. He's thinking, yeah, that dumbass infidel, whenever we rise up and I don't have to pay taxes, and that ignorant son of a bitch. Look, I come to this country. I live in a $400,000 house. He gets up and struggles 7 days a week. He stops in here on his way to work, blah, 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 blah. You know, don't be an idiot. Stop doing business. Right. Stop funding terrorism. Go ahead. I'm going to use.
No, you're right. You're right. You know, it's a damn shame. You know, here, take for instance, I actually, one day, this was probably about a year and a half ago, I was sitting there going to different places in my neighborhood, you know, like different stores and restaurants and whatever, you know, and every place that I went into was sitting there and my wife and I were talking about it, and I'm like, every damn place. We got 2 7-Elevens over here owned by them. Every Subway around our house, Subway food chain, you know, where they serve the Subway sandwiches, owned by them. And some Pakistanis, but I mean, it's pretty much the same damn thing if you really want to think about it. convenience stores. I mean, just keep going on and on and on, and think of any damn business, even a vitamin store by my old neighborhood, a vitamin store where they make concoctions themselves. Like if you're looking for a remedy for, coffee or whatever, and you don't want to buy something over the counter and you want something that you think is natural, the guy that was the actual pharmacist chopping it all up and everything back there was of the same, it all fell into the same. So all these businesses, even a travel agency by the house, owned by the same group of people pretty much. So when I talked to you one time and you were telling me, about that company that does the loans and lends the money out and all that, it was clicking in my brain. That's how all these people are buying all these businesses and sending the money back home and everything else, is they're getting the money from their own people, and they're just building it up and keeping it rolling, and buying all the businesses in the neighborhood and everything, and pretty much buying your neighborhood out. Becky told us a story the other day. She was out looking for a house, trying to buy a house or whatever, and Becky could tell the story. Here, I won't even tell. Go ahead, Becky, about when you were buying a house.
I stopped in this model home. I like the looks of it outside. Went into this little neighborhood. There's about 60 houses in the subdivision. I go in. This is when I was running for the governor of Texas, and we started a political conversation with the lady inside, of course, because I need my votes, and engaged in conversation. I tell her I really, really love this house. Get down to the cost of the home. It's way out of my budget. It's almost $400,000 home. But I'm still like in awe, and I'm chatting with her and building a rapport with her. And she said, well, and I hadn't told her yet it's out of my price range. She goes, we sold the last house in the subdivision, but if you don't mind going to Grapevine, we have another subdivision that we're building over there. It's going to be about the same size, about 60 homes, blah, blah, blah. She said, we already sold our home here. The last one that we had for sale, we sold already. And she said,
Yeah, Becky, not to interrupt you, but see, that's a standard realtor's line of bullshit right there.
Oh,
but
wait
go
a
ahead.
minute. No,
go ahead, yeah.
She had actually sold all the homes were gone, so there was none available there. She goes, the first man, oddly enough, that bought this house, first house in here, he brought all of his friends from his church, and they all bought the houses in here. They're all, except for 4 houses, all the houses have been purchased by this man's friends from his church. Then she goes, oddly enough, they all own convenience stores. Man, I thought I was going to pop a freaking blood vessel in my brain. I really
so
did.
we need to take these new homeowners a shit pile of bacon. Go ahead.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's what they're doing. What Bobby said is true. I witnessed it myself. The lady, and I said, ma'am, was this a Middle Eastern man? She goes, yeah. I said, was he a Muslim? She said, yeah. I said, that's not a church. It's called the mosque. And then I went off. I said, you want me to tell you why all those son of a bitches own a convenience store? Because you and every other taxpayer have paid for it. They come over here, and our government brings them free ride on the plane. That's about a $10,000 plane ticket, by the way, even in coach. I know this to be a fact. Then they have housing when they're here. They have a car in place. They have all the benefits when they're in place. They get free everything. And then our government is so kind that they do not tax them, and they get up to $5 million to start a business. Free money, no payback, no credit check, no nothing. She said, you're kidding me. I said, no, ma'am, I'm not. Do your homework.
Oh, that's how I start Hardy Pizza. All I are allowed to sell is anchovy, but I got $5 million to put out anchovy pies all day.
Well, no, Here's the deal, brother. This is what'll really piss you off. When you hear their stories in casual conversation and even on the news, how great America is, and I came over here with $20 in my pocket, and look at me, I own 5 stores. Yeah, motherfucker, you own those 5 stores because they were given to you. But me, on the other hand, I walk into the SBA, and I need an expansion loan for a business because I used my operating capital because my daughter was in intensive care and I didn't have insurance as a small business owner. Now I'm out in the street sleeping in my friggin' van. I can't even afford the rent on the home I'm in. And I go into the SBA and show that it's a profitable business and that I need money. And I'm told I have to have squeaky clean credit and 50% collateral. What am I asking for? Buddy, if I had 50% collateral, I wouldn't have to ask you for a friggin' dime.
Becky,
Meanwhile,
what part of it, you can only borrow money if you don't need the money? And I'm teasing you, but you know the bank will be very happy to loan you your own money at an annum interest rate. You know, if you don't need it, you're going to get it right.
I'm going to pay myself back, but at the expense of paying the extortion to the bank, the fee. You know, I'm borrowing my money.
Well, you put your money in my bank, I'll pay you 2%. And then if you want to borrow your money back, I'm going to charge you 18%. Or if you're high risk, I'm really going to milk your teats, as you said the other night, and charge you, you know, just below, if not at usury levels, which we talked about doing business in South Dakota on this show. You see what I mean?
Well,
I'm going to yield because you get it, yeah.
The usury law, for those that don't know, there is a percentage in which they cannot exceed. Pardon me. To charge you. But by some, I'm about to go off, by some miracle, these payday cash and title loan places, they're not held to the same letter of law. See, they don't have to adhere to that usury law. And guess who one of the biggest holder in the payday cash loan industry business is? You ready?
Hey, Becky.
You ready?
Wells Fargo.
Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Hold on. It's a politician that is involved. Are you ready? Hillary Clinton, the same woman that's going in with Walmart to open up the bank. Yes, sir.
Yep.
See, but the usury law, which means that they can't be overly excessive with charging you an interest on loans, is not exercised in those places. They charge you 300%, 400%, and 500% of what you're borrowing.
But they tease you into it. I mean, and the thing is once you jump into a payday loan, folks, and again, I'm coming from the clients that I have that I've seen firsthand experience that have tripped into this, and they're typically, you know, in their late 20s to even early 40s. Because it's like, well, yeah, I know I'm getting paid next week, and I really got to get this done, and I need $200 or whatever. Well, you have just flushed the toilet, and if you look into any commode in the United States of America, the water flows down clockwise. And as soon as you sign that agreement, folks, you are flushing down that drain. And I know, Becky, you teased, let's go to Washington, and if you have to take out a payday loan. But at the end of the day, there is no way in hell that I think anyone, unless they actually know how to skirt the contract, and, hey, listen, I'll loan you $10,000 for 2 hours. Otherwise, after those 2 hours, you're going to owe me this, that, and the other, and based upon Hillary's little bend of the rules, and now I'm beating the usury laws. Well, if you're smart and you know for sure that you can beat my 48 hours or 48 minutes, regardless what the contract reads, then you are using my money for free. You see what I mean? Much like in the old days, if you take out a credit card like a Visa or a Standard MasterCard or, American Express actually was a good example because you paid your balance off each month, hence no interest. And I'm not going to belabor this, but And that is another web that's closing in around us, Becky. And I'm sorry to be long-winded, but that is an area of expertise that we have all studied here, and do not get in that trap if you can help it. And I yield.
All right. Hey, Rudy. Brother, are you on? Rudy.
Yes, ma'am, sure
Rudy. Hey, brother. How you feeling?
We're all right. Just kind of hanging in there. Everybody's sick over here at home.
Dadgummit. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Y'all got the crud that's going around, the little flu bug?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's something. We got a flu, headache. I don't know what the hell it is. My 4-year-old is ornery as hell, and we're all just walking zombies trying to get stuff done, you know. But we're hanging in there. How y'all doing?
I'm doing really good, brother. I'm glad to see you calling in for me today. You know, my hands are tied. The Nazis on Facebook have bitch slapped me again with another 31-day ban for posting up information about Islam and radical Islam, and there is no moderate Islam, and the verses directly from the Quran, which I didn't add any verbiage to whatsoever. And I caught a ban for that the very next day after I just got out of a 30-day jail ban. So those bastards think they're real smart, but I found out something, and it was hysterical. It was quite by accident. I'm in chat on Becky versus You, and lo and behold, everything that I posted in there was popping up on my wall as if I had been posting on Facebook. Now, that shit's funny. Talk about a circumvention.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, I was able to actually put the link to my people at Becky versus You, my brothers and sisters there, Jim and KT and Shy Girl and some of the others. I posted a link up letting them know we were about to broadcast, and it actually went to my wall. But unfortunately, everybody thinks I'm in timeout, and they're not getting any indications that I'm having anything that's posted to my wall. And that's via Facebook, by the way. So I don't know if I actually have a troll. The one I caught a 30-day on was actually something that was from 4 or 5 months ago, and you know how much I post in a day on my page. So somebody would have really had to be a determined troll to dig until they could find something they could bitch about to get me banned. And it was the post, you might remember, where I was talking about Islam, how the government's brought them in here, and what the hell is America waiting for? Stand up, people, rise up. We're already at war on our soil, blah, blah, blah. 30 days. 30 days in the hole.
We'll be all right. We're okay before Facebook. We'll be all right after Facebook. And just like everything else, it'll come and go.
Yeah, it's true. It just limits my ability to get the show out and to, to bring my audience to the table, so it leaves me to, they're not going to shut me up, Rudy. You know that. I'm not going to be quiet. I get invited to other people's talk shows. I host on Becky versus You sometimes. I'm asked to speak. I'm asked to join groups, and I have several conversations offline via the telephone and correspondence in other areas, and they're not going to shut me up. They can do whatever the hell they think they want to do. At some point, I'm going to aggravate them enough that they're going to come knock on my door, and then we're all going to get to go to hell in a handbasket at the same time because I'm not going to be incarcerated for speaking the truth. Period.
I think you're a very nice person, very, a nice lady. I mean, you're a good person overall. I talked to you, we've kept contact, and I can't find a bad thing to say about you except that the truth hurts. A lot of people are not used to hearing the truth, or they want to sugarcoat it and miscontort it and say, hey, well, maybe they're not all that bad. They're these terrorist attacks. Why are we going to label a whole group of people just because a couple of them are taking out buildings and killing people? And then, and as as you go in further and further, you realize that it's pretty much just one giant sleeper cell. They're breaking through and filtering through amongst all the Western states. And I was noticing that in England, their population has had it. They've had it, and the government won't do nothing about it. And you got Prime Minister Merkel over here talking about
you people are racist and, this and that. Like, how are you going to say your own people are racist? Not the racist. They like to live. They like to breathe air. They like to eat, drink, talk to the kids. But like you stated, they deceive you. We're friends, and, I'm not Muslim. Oh, man, a year or two later, yeah, I'm Muslim, but a moderate Muslim. And, take it from there. Next thing you know, you're looking up at him, and he's got a sword in his hand and says, hey, you're going to convert him or you're going to get killed, And I don't know if a lot of people paid attention, but there's a lot of killing going on in the Middle East with this whole ISIS faction. And, wherever it came from, whatever, they have a hatred, a natural hatred for Christians. There are Christians in Iraq, and you're talking about little babies, not even 3 years old yet, just in diapers, and they're all bloodied up from the faith because they come from Christian families. So these ISIS guys are already killing them, and this is the same Quran that they're reading, burying 1,500 people alive one day, and the next week another 500, and so on. And they've done nothing wrong except being a Christian. And, I can understand coexist, but one of these things is not like the other, And it's just, if you're going to make excuses, then just welcome to part of the problem. Don't make excuses. If you're American, we've come a long way. We didn't have the best of the best when we started out. We were a ragtag bunch of nobodies with muskets, and we took this piece of land, and we secured our freedom. We might not have this or that, but if you have the will, you will find a way. But if you're willing to let people walk all over you, just lay down and die. That's not what we're about. Showing the next generation. You don't have to stand up and be vicious but hey, everybody get involved. Everybody's got a voice. If you think you can't do something, I beg to differ. If you make a difference in your child's life, I think you can make a difference in this world. So don't wait for the next person to step up. You step up. Be the example. Lead by example. And with that, I yield.
Man, I couldn't have said that better, brother. I watched a video on Facebook earlier that really, really unnerved me. And if I knew where this Muslim piece of shit was, I would not use a weapon to take his life, or hers, for that matter. You could not see the man or the woman, but you could hear their chat in the background. A baby, probably about 6 to 8 weeks old, little girl dressed in a pretty little girl dress. He took a plastic hanger and he put her little feet through the plastic hanger and lifted them up, and he had a switch, and he was beating the bottom of that infant's feet. And you could hear the mother and this bastard that were caning this infant people, their own friggin' child. I would have killed him with my bare hands and her. I really would have. And I see this time and time again. Boko Haram killed 2,000 people the day before yesterday in a Nigerian village of 10,000 people. Slaughtered. Went in and slaughtered 2,000 peaceful people, unarmed individuals, so that they could take over the village.
It's just insane, and it's just ridiculous. It's
I have seen
those are the same people those are the same
ahead,
people that are going to trickle in over here on this whole amnesty deal.
They're here.
They're
already here.
Everybody was making a big deal about Mexicans. Mexicans have been around for a long time. You're not making a big push for Mexicans. They're going to be here regardless, It's just a cover. It's just a front like everything else. And like you said, they come over here and they've got great benefits and tax-free this, tax-free that, and so on and so forth. And I understand people want to come to this country and live a great life and have better for their children. But let's wake up and let's realize that not everybody has our true intentions. not everybody has our hearts. You know, they come over here and say you respect my religion, and it's not. They just move in and impose their will on you. But
well,
this is ridiculous. I can't stand. Say again?
I'll tell you what's even more disturbing while you're talking about that. Number one, come across here legally. Number two, you don't suck off the system. Number three, more people are killed by illegal invaders in this country than we lost in a 12-year Iraqi war every year, murdered by illegal people across that border. And I have watched more than one video of the drug cartel decapitating, just like Islam, live decapitations. One of them was 5 women, and there was a gang dispute. So we now have the drug cartels, the murderous gangs like M13 and some of the others that have come across that border and out of South America, exhibiting the exact same behavior that Islam has exhibited to slaughter in the most ungodly, horrific, heinous way that they possibly can. We're seeing it now come to fruition with these groups that we know for a fact Islam is working with, that is coming across that border, the likes of Al-Qaeda and the other groups that have come across, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, who are some of the others? I can't think right now because I'm just scrambling my head from the anger. But I will tell you this, that is very disturbing, brother. And those people have not got good intentions. There is no good intention in anybody that is willing to come across it. Listen, if we go into Mexico or the South Americas or even up in Canada, go ahead and try to bust through there illegally and see how fast you get shot or put into prison immediately. Even in Canada, people get shot for trying to cross that border illegally. We are the only country in the Western world here that is not defending our borders and defending our people, and that is very disturbing.
China went so far as to make a wall to keep people out.
Yeah, you know,
it's,
I mean, at the end of the
common
day,
knowledge.
Yeah, and it's okay. Immigration is great. I believe in immigration. I really do, but I think that it should be legal. They need to be able to check their background, and they need to have a bankroll or a dowry to come into this country to sustain themselves until they are on their feet. They have to get a house. They have to get a car if they don't bring one with them. They have to get furnishings. They have to tend their families, pay their day-to-day expenses. They have to be able to take care of themselves while they get gainful employment. Sorry. I mean, that's the way it should be. You know,
I agree.
They should be held. Yeah. And at the end of the day, there should be a limit. X amount from this country can come in this year, X amount from this one. And I don't believe our government has the right, without the approval of the people, to say we're going to bring 50,000 refugees in from a Muslim country because they're under oppression, without the people saying, okay, we'll risk that.
They're bringing this person over here. It's called Sharia law.
Yeah, but being that the government has chosen to impose that on people, that danger on us to the tune of over 100 million folks. It's not 500,000. It's not 2 million. Those numbers are friggin' lie. Since 1975, they have been importing Islam into this country since the OPEC and the treaty signed with Saudi Arabia. 1975, folks. They've been bringing them in by the hundreds of thousands every year. That figure that they're telling you is bullshit. I guarantee you almost one-third of our population is from the Middle East or Indonesia or from India, largely Muslim countries, from the Africas. So with that understood, they're already here, brother. Those Muslim pieces of shit are here, and they breathe like cockroaches. The average family the average number in a family for Muslims now is 7. And that's not 7 in the family, that's 7 children.
A lot of people try to play the whole who's who game. It's, back in the day it was the Mujahideen fighters, then the Al-Qaeda, Taliban, Syrian rebels, ISIS.
Taliban, that's
all,
yeah.
They all
What's
fight
up, Ray?
together. How you doing, boss?
Good, bro. Good. How about you, man?
We're trying to get some rest. Me and the family been sick, so we're trying to bounce back,
I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm still working. I'm caught up in this trap of this game called work. I worked 10 days straight so far, and I'm just like, I told these guys I want to get out of here early. I want to go home early. I want to do the show on my way home, and then by the time I get home, me and the wife go out to dinner, do something tonight. Okay, we'll get you out of here early. This is the latest I worked on a Saturday in a month.
Oh, man. Somebody's working against you.
Well, you know what? I learned something today, and I should have known this before I said what I said. Never tell anybody when you're at work that you would like to leave early, okay? Because when you do, it never happens. If you're like, man, I need to get some time in today and make some money, guess what? You're leaving early. So reverse psychology.
Yes, sir. I agree. I mean, it is what it is, but hey, sometimes you just got to roll the punches, but things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to win the lottery today. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're loading me. I mean, these guys load me pretty quick, so, I mean, once they load me, I'm headed to wherever the hell they got me dropping it off at, and that's it. So.
You drive a tractor trailer?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I drive a big rig, but I'm local, so, I mean, no big deal. I just drive around here.
I was wondering if you guys have that problem up there that we do down here. Seems like every Ford Fusion, Ford Focus, Prius, whatever it is, wants to just find that 18-wheeler with the oversized load, cut them off, and stomp on the brake.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. They do it all the time. If it's not them, it's always some kind of four-wheeler that does it, or you get some asshole, that comes flying out of a lane and, cuts us off, or, I don't know. There's just so many things. I just, the way that I look at it, the people that come flying up on me where the lane already ended and they're trying to ride the side, like the median or whatever, to try to get in front of me. Oh, I love scaring the crap out of them. I start moving towards them, like into the median, like I'm going off-road or whatever. Oh, my God, they slam on the brakes so hard. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, y'all want to hear what one of our guys that can't call in because he's at work, but he's listening. He said, "Awesome show. I'm getting to hear you. You're awesome. You make Mitt and Limbaugh seem like kidney gardeners." And he said, I mean Hannity. Go ahead. That's funny, ain't it? You're old buddy.
Funny.
Hey, Bobby.
Yes.
I have a question to ask you, man. How was the feedback on our show yesterday? I got a lot of good feedback from folks.
Oh, man. Everything that I received from everybody was like, man, that was an awesome show. Probably one of the best shows you guys ever did. So on and so forth. And, yeah.
That's really awesome.
Stuff, brother.
Great.
Yes. Rudy, did you get to listen in yesterday?
Oh, no, ma'am. I was tied up all day long, driving on the road with a big load and getting cut off by every little car out there. And with all that rain.
You're a driver too?
No, I have a pickup truck and a trailer. I was hauling some fence, but I was loaded out way more than what I should have. But anyway, yeah, it just I see that everybody trying to cut everybody off and be the first in line. You know, that's how people die.
Yep, hurry up to go where? To nowhere. They're always in a hurry to go nowhere.
60 miles an hour to get to the stop sign. There you go.
Yeah, right.
So what was the show about?
It drives me nuts.
Did you guys get the text I sent you for those tech tools to keep the feds out of your business on your computer and stuff? That's an awesome link.
Yes, ma'am. Saw that. I was looking at everything, and that's all of it's good information.
Yeah, buddy. I love it. Hey, did you see, let me ask you this, Rudy. Did you see, I know Bobby did because I sent it to him. If he had time to look at it, I don't know yet or not. You got to see Mom here in Texas, Rudy, and this will be of interest to you because you're also a Texan. This is a quote. If we are practicing Muslims, we are above the law of the land. Mustafa Carroll, Director of CARE, Texas, USA.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I'd like to slap the goat off his penis. You hear me? Go ahead.
I'm hearing about how these people think that they're above the law. You know, it's oh my God. Becky, I've told you so many times. Half the time when I see some of this stuff, it gets me so pissed off with some of these people, and they think that they're better than us and whatever. I felt to throat punch one of them. I swear to God, I would just love to throat punch the crap out of one of them.
You know, that guy who said that comment, I don't think he's a average foot soldier. He's more like the guy that's front man, hey, do as I say, not as I do type person. You know, and I enjoy watching these people because I think they're complete idiots on how they talk because nobody's above the law. And second off, I mean, who's worse, the people following them or them? Because they'll hate jump. Go there, put a shop on a vest, and go blow yourself up, and they do it. Like, no, why doesn't that guy do it? Why don't he lead by example? You know, and it just tells me he doesn't have a backbone to back up what he says. You know, dude, come on, really? You coming in a suit every day? You're not gonna. I don't see you in the trenches, really. You know, so you can talk your talk, but when it comes down to it, if you're outnumbered, you're going to keep your mouth shut. And you're in Texas, so don't forget it.
I'll tell you what's really, really, really disturbing here is this guy's a convert Muslim, number one. He's American. His last name is Carroll. And we all know that CARE, the Council for Islamic Relations in America, that's who that is. And he is the director for the chapter in Texas. Number one, that Muslim piece of shit doesn't belong in my state, period. And number two, CARE is, in our rogue government has allowed this in our country. CARE has been tied to the very foundation in Addison and to Al-Qaeda and Hamas and the Taliban that they have been funding the terrorists for 15 years or more right here in Texas. CARE is a terrorist organization. It's an Islamic organization operating under a non-profit status, and they just sunk millions into the financials for these riots that have been organized that are costing people their lives and their businesses and property. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I think we spoke about that before, and I hate hearing it.
Yeah.
But it's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty disturbing. You know, we've got, Rudy, Sound Vision is running, if you didn't hear this earlier, Sound Vision is sponsoring, and it's an Islamic organization. You look it up if you want to get pissed off and get real good and angry. They're running a Islamic convention in Garland, Texas. And the imam that will be speaking at this event is a known terrorist. He was tied to the bombings in 1993 in New York, the first bombings. And he is an unincarcerated terrorist running free, and he's an imam, and he's targeting the youth. This is the program, and communities together to squash Islamophobia.
Well, it's pretty
January 17th.
obvious that they're in our backyard now, so that
Well,
when it's time,
we
they can talk all they want. Go
yeah,
ahead.
we've organized a rally, brother. I will be at that rally on January the 17th with the bullhorn and hopefully with thousands of patriotic Texans in my backside. And I'm going to let it be known that they're not welcome here. We're not good with it. This isn't Islamophobia. That they're terrorists and they need to go.
I hope you guys are going to have security.
Oh, we'll have security.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I hope you have some kind of security because...
Oh, we'll have security.
Yeah, there'll be security there if they're going to be there. But it's going to be weird because it seems like every time you see a pedophile that's arrested on the news or some rapist or murderer, they get protected better than the victims and their families, you know?
Yep.
And,
that sucks. Unbelievable.
I look at that and I'm like, wow, this is what we come to, you know?
Well, I'm going to call
the
mayor. I'm going to call the mayor of Garland on Monday and the city council and ask them just what the hell do they think they're friggin' doing. I'm going to educate them a little bit. I'm going to send them some verses and read some verses to them. I'm going to go ahead and let them know that what they're advocating is a bad thing, a very bad thing. But Garland is eaten up with Hispanic and Muslim population now. It's been pretty much taken over. They're trying to turn it into Dearborn, Michigan, is what they're doing. Are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah,
I'm there too.
You know, that's
just spreading like a disease right now.
60 miles from me, but it's in my backyard, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I'm not good with that.
Yeah, Dearborn ain't that far from me.
Hang on, I dropped my headphone. What'd you say, brother? Damn, headphone.
I said Dearborn, Michigan is not that far from me.
Yeah.
Well,
we're seeing it in Detroit. We're seeing it in Chicago. We're seeing it in places in Texas. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to sit back and let it happen without opposition. I'm not.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you the difference between Latinos here in Chicago and other Latinos. The Puerto Ricans here and the Mexicans that are here, they're all about America. They ain't about bring no craziness here and whatever, and and sticking up for all those extremist groups and everything. No way. Nope. It's a whole different ballgame here for the Latinos.
I was about to bring somebody else in. 870. I think this might be Keith. Keith, are you 870?
Yes, I've been trying all week to get in, and you just keep hanging up on me all the time.
No, but we've had so much trouble with this board. I didn't hang up on you. You probably dropped. I dropped Fletcher, but I texted him, and he hasn't texted me back. I'm hoping I didn't offend him with my foul language or something. He's one of my followers and my brother. I'll call.
I've been waiting.
I'll call him back.
It's been 5 hours this week of being on hold.
Well, that's because you don't love me anymore.
I mean, I have a little bit of reason to be upset, I would think, after, But anyway, I have some news that I want to bring to you otherwise.
Bring it on,
goes
brother.
along a little bit with what you're talking about, but it's a different angle, okay?
All right, brother.
First thing, since Obama's been in office, we've had no corporation and no government, okay? And I can tell you why. If you go back to recently when the Third Continental Congress met, they never left officially. Congress was never adjourned, okay? And they had, at the end of the term, they had to go through their charter, okay? Then that charter was never done. In turn, since Obama's taken his second term, Congress has never done its charter. The charter is to verify that's the Congress.
Really?
Okay. Yes. Study the Constitution. Every bill, everything they've done since his second term is all null and void.
I got news for you, brother. Everything that's been done since he's been put in office is null and void.
Well, I know
not
that.
eligible.
Let me finish one piece at a time. We'll get to that, okay? But I'm just saying the Congress itself has made it null and void themselves by their own screw-up. Okay? Now, let's take a second part of this, okay? You ready for another part of this puzzle?
Yeah.
First thing is that under the Non-Discrimination Act that was passed in '64, illegal immigrants are not covered in that. So in other words, if they go to work and you have a place of business, you say, sorry, Charlie, I don't have to hire you.
Wow.
Okay, it gets better yet. And this dawned on me the other day. All right? Are we ready for this? Yeah, these people are coming over here all illegal. That means they have a felony charge against them from get-go. Right?
Yeah.
Okay? Under the Constitution, they cannot, and not are eligible for any public assistance of any kind. So all this money they're getting to start their business, all this spending they're getting for all this other bull crap, guess what they have to do? They have to pay every penny back, or we can have the right to walk up to them and say, I can charge you with treason because you are enemy of the state. There is only one penalty for this treason, and that is death. Now, you have a choice, sir. You can either get the flip out of my country, or I can hang you here.
He ain't going to get to go anywhere. He doesn't have two choices. He's got one choice. Treason, if he were eligible, carries a death penalty. The only one that can turn that into a prison sentence or a life sentence would be Congress. Congress is currently right now in this prison, which means that they are also guilty of treason, so that's not going to be an option. They'll be held accountable in a common court, in a common law court. And the other thing is the fact that he is a spy and he has infiltrated or usurped that seat, it also carries a death penalty. So there is no option. You either get the F out or you're done. There is no option.
Nope.
There is none. I'm speaking on principle and law. I'm speaking the truth. I'm not going to candy coat this shit, and I don't care if the NSA and the government hear me say it. I'm going to tell it like it is, and if they don't like it, they'll let me know about it. And believe me, they harass me daily. I don't give a shit if they hear what I'm saying. I'm not threatening his life. I am stating facts. So, with that said, brother, I'm going to ask you to hold on just a second. I've got somebody that can't be on very long, and he's got one of our commanders out of Texas with him. And that is going to be Travis. Travis, you're on live, brother. Can you hear me?
Hey, how are we doing today?
Hey, brother, we're doing good. Keith was just giving us some information on the usurper, and I didn't mean to keep you so long. I understand that you have one of our commanders. You have one of our commanders with you today.
Well, actually, yeah. See, if we can do a little background here. You know, we're the Texas 3%, and I'm also involved in Open Carry Texas, and I'm also involved in Oath Keepers, and, you know, being a Marine Corps veteran, you know, I try to do as much as I can for the community, bringing together unity, providing preparedness workshops and things of that nature. And so what we've done over the past 9 months is try to build a communication network of patriots so that we can kind of bridge the gaps between all these different groups and provide, whether it be training or just brotherhood, resources. Like I said, it's kind of comprehensive, from going down to Austin, supporting Come and Take It in Open Carry Texas, and talking to legislatures, to getting with our local sheriff's department, sitting down with these guys and letting them know that we're here to support them. And so what we've actually done as of the 5th of January is we officially, made it be known that we are here. We are the sheepdogs for the Republic of Texas, the Texas 3%. And myself, I'm out in West Texas. I cover Zone 9. And I've also got the sheepdog himself, Steve Martinez, who covers the southern border.
Awesome. Hey, Rudy had to go, but he wanted me to tell you hello, so he just texted me. He's listening, but he had to get off the phone.
Okay. Hey, Steve, are you with
Travis.
us?
Pardon me? Steve?
I'm right here.
Are you there?
Hey, that was your introduction, brother.
Hey, brother, welcome to the show. I'm Becky Williams. I was your independent runner for governor of Texas, and my platform was to secede, and the government shut me down before I could smack them in the lips. But welcome to the show. I kicked him pretty good, though, Travis, with no budget and them shutting me down in the midsummer. I still got 287,000 and a few votes as an independent. So I reckon the reason they paid me the visit they did and shut down my business on the web was I was a threat. So that's good news. That means I got their attention.
Well, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to let people know that we can't make any progress if we're sitting on the couch. We have to get involved with level. And whether that's through protests and unconstitutional acts or getting in and actually running office ourselves, school boards, county commissioner, sheriff's office, city council, we've got to get people involved, and we really have to change the culture.
Yeah, we really do. And, taking action is important. I believe that what we're seeing here across the board, Travis, is direction. Two things concerning direction. One, people are complacent and they refuse to take direction as to how to take the action, and then others do not want to be told what to do or even have it suggested to them. And I could name off names, but I won't. I won't be cruel like that. But we've seen that in our own militia groups where they just absolutely refuse, as a self-appointment, they refuse to follow someone else's command or to get in line with somebody else's ROE or anything. Got a bunch of bubbas out here, and I'm glad to see that you and your group have come together and you're starting to form a coalition, and you're covering all aspects of awareness and preparedness that we, as a nation, all, not just in the state of Texas, but we all need that. We need leaders like you guys and oath keepers like you guys. At the end of the day, I'm trained in martial arts. I know how to use a weapon. I don't know how to shoot, move, and communicate like you do. I don't know the logistics of warfare, only what I've been taught through my military council, because if we had seceded, we needed a military. Things of those natures need to be given over to the people so that they can actually defend themselves if they need to, so that we can stand against the force of invasion that we're seeing and experiencing now when everything goes south. And I want to thank you. First of all, thank you both for your service, and thank you for doing what you're doing for our state. God bless you, brother.
Yeah. Well, thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for having us on, so we can let everybody know, that there is an organization out here that's not trying to, play all the ego games. We're out here actually trying to make progress and bring people together. Not under one organization, but just people can remain with their. We're not a formal militia. We are just the Texas 3%. We are just a Patriot Network. But we've got people that are involved with militias. We've got people that are involved in city council or disaster relief. And all these guys, we just try to communicate with them on a daily or weekly basis so that we can actually make some progress. And if we have somebody who wants to get involved, then we have a group that we can direct them to that'll actually focus on whatever their personal interest is, whether it be gun rights or water rights or property or whatever the issue that is most important in their life. Steve, down in the border, I mean, what have you seen? Because I'm out in West Texas. You're 1,000 miles away, basically. What have you seen different down there than some of the issues that I've talked about? I know we have these conversations every week that, one of our main obstacles is really the oil field, and now that, people have been getting laid off, do you see the shift focusing any? Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I see is there is starting to be a little bit of an increase down on the border. I do have one guy down there that keeps me updated on exactly what's going on. He is in the Valley area, and the increase is there even with this weather, which is rather crazy. But really, we haven't seen anything yet. We are expecting an increase when it warms up a little bit, especially with one of the and I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what it was that the president did just I think it was a week or two ago. That's going to promote them actually coming even more so. Well, other than his amnesty or unofficial amnesty, but
right.
We're expecting that increase. Border Patrol has become a little bit more aggressive with the men that are down there, only in the fact that they want them to stay in certain areas. But there is some unofficial support for the teams that are down there, and things are okay. I've got a guy down there that's working with them really well, and we should be setting up some teams to go down once it gets warmer and the activity increases.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, I can give you some insight, brother, because, as I said, I have military counsel, and some of that counsel happens to be active duty guard, which I still stay in close contact with. And one individual in particular, and I can't give his name out because of his job and DHS and, NSA and all that crap, they watch, listen, and even sometimes confiscate our archives on this show to try to nail me on something. But at the end of the day, I was speaking to him last week, and this is very disheartening, and I'll sum it up. I'd read it to you, but I'm just going to sum it up because we're short today on time, but I'd be happy to correspond with you on it off the air. Basically, what he said is this: as you have said, weather is a factor, and when the weather breaks and things change as far as the climate, because of this illegal orchestrated invasion that he wants to call amnesty, they're going to be flooding in. Now, I know for a fact they're not all Hispanic. Maybe 10% of what's come across that border might actually be from Mexico. We're seeing them come in from other countries, many other countries. As far as Sri Lanka, they detain people from Turkey, from Morocco, from Africa. So in the Middle East, all over the Middle East, 33 countries he could count at his gate. And this is one border patrol. We have 1,200 miles, so this is at one border. And what he said to me was this: the new directive and the new manual as of January 1 is that they cannot even defend their own person. Everything is being turned over to Internal Affairs. He had seen last week more incidents and reports being turned in to Internal Affairs and officers being drawn out on the carpet than he had seen in 7 years. And he saw that in 1 week. And this is simply, you have to look at it this way. How do these foreign nationals that are invading our borders have knowledge that these Border Patrol can't do anything to the degree that they can't even defend themselves now? Not physically at all. They can't. Anybody who claims to be pregnant can't even be spoken to. They claim they're pregnant. Nothing. You come on in. Those border gates have been open. Those borders have been open for many years, but they've been wide open. The only truth Obama ever said was about transparency, and he has been very transparent in this second term about his intention to destroy America and that we are under siege and that we are already at war. Listen, anytime anyone comes across that border with so much as a pocket knife, they are considered a armed invader. It's considered a declaration of war. And many times over, that has been committed in this country by our own rogue, if you want to call them a government. They're no longer a government, and Keith was just going over that, and I'll take y'all back to him in a second. But at the end of the day, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution, Article 1324, is very specific on what the penalty is for aiding and abetting and what it breaks down to as far as law enforcement not arresting an official. We're not to even give them a glass of water. And we have organizations that have barrels up with gallons of water in it, and they're nonprofit, and they're run by our government because these poor people are dying, and we found so many bodies out there. You know what? And then they say our immigration policies are killing people. No. Yeah, they're killing Americans. That's who they're killing. More people die in this country at the hands of an illegal or foreign invader in 1 year than we lost soldiers in a 12-year Iraqi war. And that should strike home for anybody that's listening. So with that said, we have a situation where our Border Patrol now cannot do anything to defend themselves at all. Imagine that. And if that's not enough, this whole government against the police, people against the police thing that's going on right now that's been aggravated and orchestrated by the DOJ, Eric Holder himself, and Al Sharpton and Obama and the likes of them and the DHS. That now has caught wind, international wind, via the media, and that was also orchestrated. So they're spitting on our law enforcement officers on the border, laughing at them, mocking them. You see, they've picked up that now they have to have zero respect for them. They have no fear and no respect for them. And that is a huge logistic play on the part of this rogue government and the DHS that was logistically embattled. That was huge. And I know that you guys understand that, you're military, but the citizens of the state and the rest of the country that haven't got that military background don't understand what that really means and what the purpose was for it. And I yield. I'll go ahead and yield to you, Steve. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and going back to something that you said about the perceived threat, you're 100% right. I do have friends at the Border Patrol that are customs, one that's an ICE agent, and they have verified to me that yes, if someone is a perceived threat as they come across the border, the agents are not to engage them in any form or fashion. So they can't detain them. They can't do anything like that. If you go down there as a private citizen, they will not take from you anyone that you detain having crossed the river, because right now they're saying that they have to see them cross themselves. So everybody has to be let go pretty much. And so the guys that are down there right now are to the point that all they can do is observe and report.
Yeah, and that's the policies, I guess, that you were touching on before we came on of treason by the elected officials that we have, from Washington, DOJ, all the way down to Austin, and our own agencies here in Texas. And it's really kind of a sad fact that we're dealing with, and that's why we're here to really say that, yes, we understand these threats. The public does not understand because they may not be involved, or they may have not done the research. But we are at war right now, really. Truthfully and honestly, it's the Reconquista with the La Raza, and it's a combined effort from Mexico, Guatemala, and Salvador, and this is well known. We are being strategically invaded, and with acts of war that happen on a daily basis, things that violations of our federal code, our state code, the constitutions, and these treaties that have been signed in the past, And right now they're not doing anything about it, and they're giving aid to the enemy, so to speak, and they are guilty of treason. So what do we do as men and women of this state? Well, I mean, what we're saying with the official Texas 3% is we are the sheepdogs that will position to defend the Republic of Texas from tyranny, oppression, and civil unrest. There is a lot of corruption. We can't tackle this, head on. We have to take it step by step. And the first thing to do is get off the couch, get involved with your local groups, and, we do have groups all over the state. So you're not alone. That's one thing that we want to let people know. If you want to read our press release, it is at www.texasiii, that's Texas 3 with Roman numerals, .org. That's a brand new website. We haven't done a lot of work on it yet. We just put it up this week, but it's Texas Roman numeral 3.org, and we've got the statement up there. It's a joint statement by the zone commanders of the Texas 3%, and you can see, everything that we stand for right there. It's got links on there to our official Facebook group, which is the official Texas 3%, and if you need to send us an email or something like that, you can go ahead and do that. But we're on Facebook, we're on the web, and we're here to let people know that there is an organization out there that's working tirelessly day in and day out at helping to correct these deficiencies, and we have to start.
I actually have a question.
Are we still there?
I don't know if you can hear me or not. My name's Bobby, and I actually have a question. I'm in the state of Illinois, okay, and I actually live in the Chicagoland area. And what we've been seeing a lot of here is we've been noticing that there's a lot of military, a lot more military here activity. We've been seeing, all the signs, black helicopters, martial law was pretty much implemented about a year and a half ago when we had a couple different incidents here. It was pretty much just like it was, in Boston, different places that you see, like in Watertown, whatever. And what we're worried about here is we don't have the same gun laws nowhere near like Texas. I'm actually very, very jealous of the state of Texas myself, because I fancy guns. I wish I could have one, but our laws here are very, very strict, and, they make it to where they don't want anybody to have one. What I'm worried about when the crap comes down, we don't have the same luxury of having a militia, such as you gentlemen, that are ready, pretty much to stand up and, and let the regime pretty much know that you're not going to take their crap, and, that you have just as much as they have and enough people to stand behind you. Now, us in this state, I have no idea what we're going to do, because the militia that's here is pretty much all down in southern Illinois. There's nobody nowhere near Chicago, that has any type of militias. But what I'm trying to figure out is, do you think in your mind, I know that, there's going to be plenty of people that are going to stand up, when it's time and try to fight the good fight. But what I'm trying to figure out is states like, take for instance, like my state, what do you think that a state like us that, has very strict gun laws can do besides, everybody just coming together and trying to form a group, where maybe we could try to do something together in the end. But other than that, what do you think that we could do?
If I could take that, and then I want to see what Steve has to say about it too. But I just pulled up the basically the open carry laws from opencarry.org. You said you're in Illinois, and just summary here. It's not a traditional open carry state. Open carry is clearly prohibited except in unincorporated areas where the county has not made open carry illegal. Additionally, note that open carry is prohibited inside of a vehicle even when in unincorporated areas. Further, recent review of Illinois statute indicates that even open carry on foot in unincorporated areas may also be unlawful. And so, in abundance of caution, Illinois is, as a state, banning open carry entirely. There's no state preemption on firearms laws, and yes, I mean, it is a very strict state. Now, the only problem with that I see off the bat is that the Constitution of the United States clearly says that all men have the right to keep and bear arms. And the Constitution has been supported and affirmed by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has ruled that any law that contradicts the Constitution is null and void. It's not something that's voidable, it's null. So I would say the very first thing that you have to do is to start talking to the legislators, talking to your local sheriffs, and letting them know where you stand, because it's kind of like in Washington State, where they have the new law that you cannot do private transfers and you cannot lend people your firearms. It's an unconstitutional law. They went out and openly defied it. They had about 1,500 people that created or that were participating in a felony action in front of the government officials, in front of the sheriffs and the police. And the sheriff's department made a statement that they're not going to arrest anybody because it was a clear protest and it was a well-known thing. But you have to get involved, because if these, if your state laws and your local laws say that you can't have a weapon in your car, you can't bear arms, that's in violation of the Constitution of the United States, and that is the supreme law of the land. So these state codes and statutes are illegal and unlawful. So, I mean, you have to start right there. Steve, did you have anything you wanted to add? I just wanted to kind of give a disclaimer, I guess, from my perspective.
Yeah, I sure do. And the way this happens is a lot of us have firearm insurance, let's call it that. And what it is an insurance that we'll use should one of us get arrested for a potential firearms law violation. So when that happens, we wind up in court, and you see that a lot here in Texas, so that we can clarify what the law says. Now, as far as the militia thing up there, my suggestion to you would be to not necessarily form a militia. It's not a militia really that you need. What you need is to be able to organize, and organize as a community. And I mean community as in the people from your block, right? The people from the next block and the next block over need to organize within themselves so that they know what they're going to do should something catastrophic happen. You can train to run formations. You can train on how to move. You can do all those things, even in the park. You don't need the weapon to do that. My suggestion as far as weapons go is work within the law and learn to use those weapons efficiently. I'm going to tell you that most of my weapons have more wear on the outside than they do on the inside. On a slow year, where I don't get to shoot a lot, I'm firing 3,000-4,000 rounds a year. Not really a lot, but more than most. I shoot a lot of competition, and that keeps my skills sharp. Now, the purpose of shooting competition, like I tell people, isn't because it hones any of those other skills. It hones my ability with my weapon. It hones the little tactile things that I need so that I can be proficient with it. You know, it's just weapons proficiency. Controlling your weapon, knowing what it does, and how and where you can employ it. That's why I should win a competition with that. If each of y'all find a match, be it a USPSA match, an IPSC match, or a carbine match, whatever type of shooting competition that's available to you in that area, I would shoot those matches so that you become more familiar, like I said, and then proficient with your weapons. And then the day that you do have to put those formations together, you understand what it is you're doing. In your neighborhood, you can set up, you can drop range cards. The thing to do is learn how to set up a range card and how to utilize them properly so that y'all cover each other, even if it's just with bolt-action 22s, if that's all the state allows. And you can protect your neighborhood, because really that's what a militia should be. And you shouldn't necessarily have to set up that way. You can get shortwave radios, and this way you're always in contact, and everything works for you. Everyone should be prepared to take someone in from the neighborhood should something happen. So this standing militia type thing isn't really what's necessary. The only thing necessary is the will to organize and communicate.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think on that, I would also recommend going with the local sheriff's department.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
What was that, Travis?
I was saying also, I'd add to that, Steve's talking about forming neighborhood watches and things of that nature, and that's great. That's really where we have to start, is at the ground level. And then get together once you have your neighborhood watch, and go sit down with the local sheriff and tell them, look, we're trying to get prepared, for anything that comes our way, whether it be, somebody breaking into houses or anything. And, what help can you provide us? We want to provide you assistance if you need it. And so start to try to formulate those relationships with the local sheriff's department. The only way to do it is to make that effort, to reach out to them, make phone calls, send emails, and ask for an appointment, sit down with them, and go over these concerns that you have.
That's good stuff, brother. I mean, I know we have a limited listening audience today, but I would really, Bobby is my host. I actually co-host, but today is my show. Bobby, I'd really like to have them back on and have some of our other guys that are versed in that area and do a show with you guys if we could, and keep pumping out the information. Pardon?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and pump out the information again, if you wouldn't mind, Travis, for your website and for you and Steve, how you might be reached if someone wants to engage you in a private conversation on Facebook, how they might find you.
Well, I can be found. I'm Travis Kinsler. I can be found on Facebook or any other social media. And Steve Martinez. We're on the official Texas 3% Facebook group. We really don't. People from out of state, we really try to keep it local, not to offend anybody, but we just try to keep people local so that everybody who's on the page is actually involved. And we have our zone pages set up for every we use a Health and Human Services map so that we can coordinate with emergency personnel and sheriff's departments. And the actual website has only been up a week. It's really raw. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it does work, and we have a statement that you can view on there that lets you know exactly where we stand, and that's at www.texas3 with the Roman numeral, so that's texasiii.org. And you can view our statement there. You can send us an email if you have any questions, and we'll do our best to get you an answer. If we don't know, then we'll research it, and we'll find somebody who's an expert in that field if we have any questions that need to be fielded that are outside of our expertise.
Good stuff, brother. And let me ask you this, because a lot of our listeners, we have listeners everywhere. Obviously, we're an internet blog talk show. Would you folks mind if they contact you, even if they're not in the state of Texas, if you have any contacts in their area, would y'all be opposed to them doing that so that maybe you could send them to someone their way?
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. There's an email on there, and it's officialtexas3@gmail.com, and that's on that website. You can there's a link for the email on there. Send us an email with your questions if you're from out of Texas, and we'll do your best. If you're in Texas and you're looking for a local group to connect with, you can find us again. We're in the Facebook groups. If you just do a search for the official Texas 3%, you'll find us, and just get on board, get involved.
God bless you, brother, man. That's good stuff. I appreciate you coming on with such a short notice, and I'm sorry that we've run out of time, but I'd really like to get in touch with you when you have time this week. Give me a call, and let's chat for a little bit, and we'll schedule a 2-hour show for you guys, and you can bring some others with you to the table, and, of course, Steve, you're invited as well. We really appreciate you coming on and the information that you shared, and I certainly feel better being tied and connected to you and the rest of the groups across Texas, and feel blessed to have that in place. I do have one question for you before we let you go. Is there a model that you would be able to impart to any of these individuals that would like to structure a group such as yours in their own state?
Well, I'm a little biased. Being a Marine Corps veteran, I think Marines do it better than everybody else, and so I'm gonna refer you to the Marine Corps. And the thing is though, that was a joke, but it's not. Yeah, it's not a joke, but it is. No, but like Steve said, though, you got to start with your block. You have to get outside, meet your neighbors. Most people don't even know who lives across the street from them. You got to get out, involved, form these neighborhood watches. That's one of the most important things, because if anything goes wrong, you've got a natural disaster, you've got, an outage or anything like that, whether it's a threat from a criminal element, you've got to know the guys on your block so that you as a community can support and defend each other.
Yeah. And that's so that
good stuff.
And that's so that you're a help rather than a hindrance to your neighbors. Think about it. If everybody's trying to bug out or get out of town because something bad happened, now there's an issue. But if everybody's getting each other's way,
and to law enforcement, if I just may interrupt real quick, and to law enforcement, and I yield.
And the thing with the law enforcement, if you organize the way I'm talking about and communicate with your local law enforcement the way Travis talked about, you know what? They can more stay out of your neighborhood and concern themselves with other areas, because you've got your neighborhood secured on your own, which I think is probably your best bet.
Well, I can tell you one thing: the Chicago police and the Cook County sheriffs are pretty corrupt, so that's going to be a little bit of a task here.
Yeah, well,
and that's the thing. We've got that. Yeah, we've got that problem everywhere, and we fully support law enforcement. I mean, we've got, like I said, we're not a formal militia, but we do network with militia groups. And, according to the federal statute, I think it's Title 10, 311, 312, basically every able-bodied man is part of the militia who should be there to support and defend his local sheriff's department. I mean, that's in the federal code, how it's structured. So, like I said, we are a group. We're not a formal militia. We're just a communication network of patriots. But you have to support your local law enforcement. You have to support your local sheriff's department and your military veterans. That makes up a large chunk of our membership is law enforcement and the military. And let it be known that you're here to stand up for what's right. And whether that be protesting an unlawful, unconstitutional act, or whether that be reaching out and giving somebody an attaboy and making phone calls. If you see a news story that actually highlights some actions that an officer did that were, above and beyond. Reach out to your local sheriff or your local police chief and tell them, hey, I want to commend this guy because he's doing it the right way. It's not all about exposing the evil. We also have to support the good guys.
Right.
I agree.
Well, you know what? We would love to have you gentlemen back on. I mean, if we would love to have maybe like a 2-hour show and be able to prep it, and get the word out, where I know that there's going to be plenty of our listeners and, people in general that would love to ask, a ton of questions of you guys. So, I mean, if it would be something that could be feasible, I mean, we would love to extend ourselves and, ask you to come back and, do a full show with us and, where we can actually get it out there and, put it on blast to everybody.
Yeah, it sounds good. We'd be honored. I mean, I know I can, we could probably talk and get some more people online. We've got, state commanders across the state of Texas here that would probably be willing to jump on and give you insight. And, Becky, you've got my number, so just, let's talk about it later on and we'll set something up. Just let us know when.
Absolutely.
Right,
we appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Bobby, before we cut it off, I'm gonna go ahead and give Keith the floor and let him finish up what he was telling us. And I do apologize, Keith. Travis is a busy man, and it's hard for me to catch up with him sometimes. And we had an opportunity to nab and grab him, so I took that opportunity. Keith is one of our regulars. He's on the show quite frequently, and he's a brilliant constitutionalist and has loads and loads of knowledge concerning law and constitution. So I'm going to let him finish up. And, again, thank you, Steve. It was nice to meet you. Thank you, Travis. I'm currently on a Facebook felony, so I'm limited on Facebook to chat. I'm incarcerated now. Anybody wants to send commissary toilet paper, pen and paper, so I can.
Can I say something?
I committed that dubious. Pardon? I committed that dubious Facebook felony of first right amendment. Wow.
Can I say something to Travis real quick before you leave, and then I'll finish up with what I was going to say. Travis, I come to the table. It's a little bit different. Also, Becky did not finish what she could have. I also got 40 years behind me working with the disability community, not just here, but all over the country, including Texas. And so if you guys want some help on that end, Becky knows how to get a hold of me. I'll be more than happy to feed my 2 cents worth of contacts down there in Houston and some of the headquarters or some of the main leader people down there that can help you with that as well. Or I can help you myself. So, because there's an area group people, most people just overlook and don't even think about. They don't even look at the preparedness or anything else for the disability community. And there's so many extra logistics that need to be done. So I'll be willing to step in and do what I can to help out on that end as well.
Yeah, we need to set up a conference so we can discuss it. I'm sure we can put our heads together and come up with some viable solutions for a lot of these issues.
Okay, well let me know, and I'll be happy to do.
I'll coordinate that roundtable call. I'll get with you, Travis, this week, and we'll sit down and find an evening that is open for all of us, and we'll do a quick roundtable, exchange some notes and contact information, and let's get this ball rolling.
Okay. Okay.
I'm all about it.
Can I go ahead and finish up what I started then, Becky? Am I free to?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
you all so much for the time.
Steve. God bless you, brother, man. Y'all stay safe out there. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. God bless you, too. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Didn't mean to step on your toes there, but I just thought it might be something good.
No. That's okay. That's okay, brother. Go ahead, brother. What were you? Go ahead with what you were saying. We've got limited time on overage here, but I want to get it squeezed in.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is that we need to get to the place where people understand. I don't care if it's in social services, from HUD, whoever, and even the people themselves. Like you walk into the the convenience stores, and they have these people understand. You broke a felony of this country. and you let them in the HUD and say, what's worth? I mean, is it worth treason for to let these people come in and rent from HUD? Is your life worth it? I mean, even to go in and even to go into a convenience store and people are buying stuff. All you're doing, you're helping out the enemy of the state. I mean, if we wanted to, we could sit down every one of you here in the store. We could charge you treason because you're aiding and abetting the enemy of the state. Is your life worth that soda? Is it worth that pack of cigarettes? And I guarantee you, people start realizing that that's what. I guarantee you, people's lives will start. Their whole attitude will start changing overnight. But the question boils down to one question. I'll be quiet. Is how long is it going to take us before we realize that this country's being killed with conquest?
Oh, absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
Absolutely.
That's the whole
and,
it all.
And that's the question that we're always asking. And you heard it from a soldier who knows the articles of war. You just heard Travis say it. He agrees with me. We just witnessed General Boykin agreeing with me. All these people think I'm some loudmouth, crazy-ass, old cougar woman sitting over here in Texas trying to stir the pot, and I'm not, folks. I mean, you're hearing it from our soldiers. You're hearing it from our constitutionalists. You're hearing it from the educated folks that have come on here. They're not agreeing with me formed of opinion. They're agreeing with me based on fact. And you guys need to understand this as well. Please do your research. If you're not going to take our word for it, and I prefer, even if you do take our word, for any information that we give out on this radio broadcast, that you do your own research just for affirmation, for the purpose of peace of mind when you're making decisions that are so vital to your very existence and your life, your family's life. Please take responsibility. Like Travis said and like many others say on the show, and I say, it's your responsibility. Rudy says it. But, it is our responsibility to take that action. Go ahead, brother.
Well, I just wanted to ask you one quick question. When I need to, because Bill sent me the link for Host Keepers, but I've been through that website. I need to borrow your availability for 5 to 10 minutes so I can get plugged in here. And I was just going to ask you when would be a good time for me to get in touch with you.
Man, I tell you, I've just been swamped, and I've seen your phone calls, and I'm not ignoring you on purpose, brother. You and about 50 other people call me on a regular, and Saturday and Sunday are usually family days.
I understand.
Just to give you an idea how busy I was this morning, I finally got to sleep about 5 o'clock this morning, got woke up at 7, was at the grocery store by 8 doing my grocery shopping, tending my dog in the morning before I ever had a cup of coffee, and that's on Saturday. I got my shower about 1:45 this afternoon, and it's been hell bent for leather since I stepped out of bed this morning. And man, on a cold day like today, I wish I had somebody to just spoil me right and let me lay here and let them cook for me, take care of the dog, clean, do all the other, the daily duties that I'm strapped with. But anyway, brother, I'll get with you. Probably sometime later this evening. I'll be available. I still have a couple other things that I have to do when I get off of this radio broadcast that I've committed myself to.
You want to call me or you want me to call you?
Yeah, I'll give you a buzz as soon as I'm finished up this evening. And I've made a promise for some of my delicious homemade fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and black-eyed peas for my roommate who missed Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving dinner because she was flying all over the world. So she's home now after a 31-day trip, and I say many trips, actually. So I promised her that. That's her Christmas gift for me. So I do at some point have to go labor in the kitchen. Don't y'all wish y'all were me?
People, the bottom line, what I was trying to make the point of, is that we have a lot more power, and we need to start getting this information out and having people realize that, it's real simple. You can leave the country, you can be charged treason. If you want to help them, you can be charged treason. And just have people get to people, and hopefully that they are affecting people home.
Well, fantastic. Yeah.
I can't actually make out what other person is saying.
Keith, you're breaking up, buddy.
I'm sorry. I'll be quiet. I'm sorry.
No. You were breaking up. We couldn't understand a thing.
Oh, I couldn't even tell if somebody was talking. I think it's a TV or something in the background, maybe. It was kind of hard to figure out what that noise was.
I have no idea, but Bobby, why don't you go ahead and wrap the show up, brother, and I'll let you get on home and get warm, and I'll go down there and do my labor in the kitchen, and then engage my other family that I've dedicated time to at Bank versus You, and we'll go from there. Well, brother.
You know what? We want to thank everybody that was able to be part of the show today. I apologize that I'm actually still at work, and I apologize that I wasn't able to get in there a little bit. But you know what? I'm glad that all the people that were able to join today were on, because so much information again. This is another one of those shows where,
out of nowhere,
learn so much, they learn so much, and then they have, gentlemen that, that are part of something that means so much,
yes.
And for them to be able to get in there and talk to us and, give us information, just another outstanding show. We want to do more of this. I've been testing out Mixler, which is another podcasting system. I think that we're going to be able to use a conference call system, which I know Jim has one. I also picked up a bridge for free on free conference calls, which I don't think it's a good one, but I'm working through it. And we're going to be able to try to do shows on Mixler, and if we could do shows on Mixler and be able to use an outlet, being Jim's or ours or whatever, and, get the sources out there and do more shows, bigger shows. That's going to be great. Next week I'm going to have some time on my hands where I'm going to be able to do some shows later at night.
Cool.
Because I'm going to have, my wife is actually, she's going with her aunt. She's got stuff she has to take care of. So I'm going to be doing shows later at night, with you, and from the house and from the luxury of a computer, and hopefully I'll have the studio up and running by then. And, I'm going to try to figure out how we can do the show on Spreaker also, because their council is a little bit crazy. But you know what? This is all something to look forward to. Also, I wanted to talk about what we got coming up here in the future. We're going to have Secret Service agents on sometime this week. I don't know the exact day, but we're going to have on two ex-Secret Service agents who have been retired for about 15 years now, about 15 years. And they're going to come on and, tell us some stories and, and tell us a little bit about some stuff. But then from there, we're going to try to have on, I've talked to Dave Hodges a little bit. We're going to try to get Dave Hodges on. He gave me his email address, so we're actually able to keep in touch with each other. And, we're working on some other things. Oh, another thing. I don't know if any of you ever heard of these guys. There is a hip-hop group called P2P is Now. Paul, Tom, Paul is Now is the name of the group. They made a couple of patriotic songs and constitutional songs. I've been in contact with them. I'm going to have them on the show probably sometime next week, not this week coming up, but the week after. So we've got some stuff coming up, and we're going to, we're going to get it done. We're going to have some good shows going on here. So, we're just stick with us and let's do some good things together here.
Sounds good to me, brother. I'm all about it. Let's get her done. Hey, it was a great show, and I love it when things like that happen, They come out of nowhere and unscripted and with no real guests, just an open
Hey, I'm here, but I have all my tractors, so just yell Jim and I'll hear you, okay? And by the way, there's a F-16 flying over. There you go.
All right, I love it. Well, I want to thank everybody that came on today, and I want to thank the listeners. We appreciate you and love you as always. We're looking out for your interest, our interest, and the rest of the country, bringing you truth on a daily basis. This has been Becky Williams with Rage Against the Regime. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.